Yo, what it do? What it do, man? It's your boy LP, and I'm turned up, and I ain't turning down no time soon. The question is, what does it mean to be a real man?
Go so hard,
Stay
go so
tuned.
hard, go
It's
so
finna
hard.
get real.
Hey,
I'm talking about it's finna get real, like really real. What is going on? We're having some technical difficulties, but we are going to get it straight.
go
Hold
so
on 1
hard, go
second.
so hard.
There we go. All right. Now, hey, what it do, man? It's your boy LP. We turned up with the Trap Playing Radio. We got some special guests in the building right now. Some special guests in the building right now. The special guests in the building right now. Hey, the special guests in the building right now. Got the special guests in the building right now. We turned up and we getting it. Turned up and we getting it. We turned up and we get it. Yeah, we turned up and we get it. What it do, man? It's your boy LP, like Paul, and it is the Trap Playing Radio. Hey, I got some special guests right now, and we're going to talk about this issue, talk about the subject. What does it mean to be a real man? What does it mean to be a real man? Hey, we're going to talk about it. And I got my sister, Miss Keisha, in the building. I got the homie Christopher Michael in the building. And we're going to talk about it. We finna dive into it. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, you know what I'm saying? I want to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. You know what I'm saying? You know, as they say, ladies first. So Miss Keisha, talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to us.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on this platform and entertaining a very needed discussion on manhood. I am just a believer in Christ, a Black woman who is interested, invested in the betterment of my people. I am concerned about the family, concerned about the dynamics of the community, and I feel a lot of it stems from this question that we're addressing today, and that's manhood. And so I reached out to you as a way of, first of all, I reached out to you specifically because I love how you display manhood, how you are always going in, trying to empower the people, challenging our thoughts. And also, I thought you would be a good person to reach out to in regards to being a father yourself, having 3 sons, not being afraid to be vulnerable. So I really appreciate those attributes about yourself. And I'm just happy to be a part of this discussion. The ladies have a lot of questions, and I'm looking for what I consider to be a real man to give some answers to them. So thank you again for having me.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Thank you so very much, sister. That's a blessing. Hey, and we got up next the big homie Christopher Michael. Talk to us, brother. Got to unmute yourself.
All right, I got you. What's going on, man? Christopher Michael. Tell you about myself, of course. I also trust and believe God myself. Basically, like I said, I'm a barber. I cut with LP, and I just want to basically be able to be a part of the solution because it's so easy to always bring up the problem, complain, finger point. But I just want to try to learn how to be part of the solution. Because, like they say, the saying is, you want to have a solution problem, basically be a vitamin, B1, B1 is a solution. So I want to be a vitamin to this basically disease that we got going on between each other and maybe help at least bridge the gap somewhat. So, but yeah, just like I said, man, just happy to be here. Appreciate you trusting and even inviting me to be a part of this discussion. So that means a lot. That you think I have something to say and hopefully that you believe I can help also. And I desire to. So appreciate me being on, man.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So this is what we gonna do. We're gonna jump right into it, man. You know, you got a lot of people who present a lot of ideologies on the concept of manhood. And a lot of us, we have our experience on what we've seen, what manhood is all about. And I was asking a question a few days ago. I said, what is the rite of passage? You know, in some, cultures, what I'm saying, across the world, they have a rite of passage, what I'm saying, that shows when a boy turns into a man and when a girl turns into a woman. There's a ceremony that they go, a little ritual that they go through, what I'm saying, and this shows, and once they go through this particular rite of passage, this says, this, tells the world, this is now a man. This is not a boy anymore. This is a man. So I asked the question, what is the rite of passage that we have in our culture as African American males? And people got silent on me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, for real, if we don't, why don't we have one? And so, I think we need to do that. But anyway, from a cultural standpoint, a lot of our rite of passage is, what I'm saying, how much liquor we can drink, how high we can get, how many girls we can smash, what I'm saying, things of that nature. Those were the things that classify us as, you're a man now. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that has gotten very toxic. You know what I mean? And so I just believe that there is a lot of things that I've learned in my adult years. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. I'm 40 now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still learning, what I'm saying, the concept of what it is to be a man. You feel me? And so anyway, man, I just want to talk about it. Keisha, you got any questions that you want to ask? And we're going to do our best to answer questions to the best of our ability.
Well, LP, to be honest with you, it's like you're reading my mind, because that's the first thing I have written on my little notepad here, is the rite of passage, because that's where I'm always, as I look at men, as I look at a thing, I try to search for a beginning process, as I analyze personally. And I think the first question that I have, you've already started to address. So I that question would be, before we even talk about what a real man is, what is a fake man? So you already given some description to things that people associate with manhood, such as how many drinks, if you can hold your liquor, perhaps how many girls you've been with, and things like that. So that's one of my first questions to you and Mr. Christopher here, is to kind of dismiss a lot of these fake notions of manhood and what manhood is not, before we begin to talk about what it is, if that's okay.
No doubt. No doubt. Chris, hey, I want you to jump into that, man, and answer that question. You know what I mean? And I think you got a lot to say on that subject. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's bro, that's deep. Because first and foremost, we've been around like fake men. What I mean is, we parade around. It's more like a peacock. I don't know if you've seen or really did a study or notice peacocks. Peacocks do a lot of bantering, a lot of fluff, and have a lot of showmanship, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. It's a lot of show. Fake dudes do a lot of showmanship. They're trying so hard to garner your attention. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, this is that, this is going on. Hey, I'm getting money. You know what I'm saying? I'm flexing on you. And I'm doing all this type of stuff. I got the flyest outfits, but yet still you still living at home with your mom. I mean, you true enough, you making all this money. We grew up in society where those guys making all this money, but you didn't have a place you established as your own. You never bought a house with it. You bought a car and you put it on rims and you put systems in it, but you didn't get you a place to stay. You didn't make any type of investments to try to grow yourself and get further, to even show that you're a viable candidate to be her husband, or to even be in her life romantically. And fake guys make it look good when I can basically approach you with what you want to do or kind of get an idea where you're going. And I'm gonna go deeper with this. Let me try to shorten it up because I don't want to take too much time. It's simple as this. If you see a girl, when you're a fake dude and you see a girl or a young lady or woman, what have you, that you're interested in, the first thing you do, you try to turn into a chatty Cathy. Tell me everything you're looking for, so now I can begin to play this role. It's like when ladies give him the information, you're doing like a movie. It's called a casting call. Now he begins to look for a role to play in your life so he can try to form himself and fit into that narrative that you're thinking, hey, I want a man that does this, this, and this. This is what I'm looking for. So he begins to be like and morph, to shapeshift and morph himself into that person in order to get his goal accomplished, as in sleeping with you. He has no goal to being in this thing long term. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna then therefore become an actor. I'm gonna act like I'm that guy. I'm gonna act like I care about you. I'm gonna bring you roses. I'm gonna pick you up. I'm gonna send you good morning text, good night text you out the day, call, check on you, pull up with roses. I'm gonna do all this stuff in the beginning, knowing I have no intention to keep that going. That's fake. And so what our sisters and queens have to do is wait us out a lot of the times. Wait us out. Because we can keep it up in the beginning, but if you real, that's easy for you. That's easy for you. I ain't got to come with the theatrics. I'm going to just basically present myself as that. If we fit, we fit. We don't, we don't. I appreciate you. Then you move on. But other than outside of that, that's when the problem comes, because now when fake guys shapeshift, real guys be who they are. In other words, just to sum it up, they're going to shapeshift into whatever your idea is. But so be careful about giving him the gun and the ammunition to shoot you with, and then that's how you end up broken-hearted, because he tended to be there for only so long just to bring your walls down and make you get comfortable. And you're like, oh man, I found me one. And as soon as your drawers come off, sayonara, out of here, black book, got him. And you looking like, what happened? But here's what you got to pay attention to as a woman. God gave y'all the best defense mechanism there ever been. It's called woman's intuition. The only reason why a lot of our sisters get hurt because they tend to trust that less, because they are so much into this guy. Ooh, I'm feeling him so much. And it's telling you it look right, it smell right, it may even sound right, but somebody's just don't feel right. It don't feel right. It don't feel right. And when you don't trust that it don't feel right lesson, then you look back, you like, God, I should have trusted that. Trust that, and that'll tell you whether this guy is real or he not. 100% of the time.
Man, that's good, bro. That's real good. Excellent presentation. I kind of wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying from a perspective of people talk about how real they are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, especially, using the term, I'm a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real nigga. I'm a real. Well, the concept of being real has to be wrapped up in your identity. And a lot of us don't even know who we are. We don't know our purpose. We don't know what we were even placed on this earth for. So whenever you're in a position of knowing who you are, not knowing your personal identity, it's hard for you to be quote unquote real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we spend a lot of time, you know what I'm saying, somebody that we wasn't, and it was only because we didn't know who we were. And at that point in time, there was we had no ability of being quote real man. You get what I'm saying? So that's why, knowing your purpose is a very, very, very important thing in terms of presenting yourself as a quote unquote real man. You got any?
I see I'm up. And are you waiting on me to speak? I don't know. I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, I was saying, you go ahead with your next question.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to say to both of you guys that you gave some good feedback, and it made me just think about, coming from my believer side, the hypocrisy. So there's a lot of stuff we got to unlearn. I liked how you say that man became what she wanted But at the end of the day, when you go back to what woman was made for, back to the purpose that God made us for, the Bible said that man was by himself, and although God walked with him in the garden and gave him work, he said it's not good for man to be alone. And then here comes the woman. So in actuality, should women be, once we're looking at the man, looking to see if we align with who he is and his mission and where he's going, and what are men doing to share that, right? So I'm a little bit confused with men a lot, because I see men, and personally I think a lot of fake malehood is to stop at being able to just take care of yourself, right? So the goal is to get up, become independent, to go get a job, and to make money, right? But there's so much more to manhood than that, right? So I would like to know what's more to manhood beyond that, right? So beyond going out there and being able to secure a bag, hopefully by legal means, going to school. I was a little bit frustrated as a Black woman per se, being in corporate America and technology, seeing a number of Black males there who were making good money, and I felt we're in a position, at least financially, to be able to aspire to have a wife, have a family. And that just seemed to be the furthest from their mind. It was the furthest thing from their mind. So when does that discussion become important to the man, to now look to have a family, look for a wife and cementing legacy? Right? When is that important to the Black man? Because I'm looking at everybody else in the 23, 24. I was working in the credit union. We had young couples coming in there, creating their savings account, getting married, hadn't even finished college yet, you know? But that's important to them. And I see it. They don't even have
Absolutely.
to be balling like we are.
Mm.
Say about that amongst you all. Do you hear brothers talking about
Well,
going to the next level?
well, a lot of times there is the a lot of fear that comes with that, with onto that next level. What you talking about? There's a lot of fear there, and the reason why there's a lot of fear there, because many of us thought that wasn't exemplified. We didn't see the concept of, uh, um, you know, taking, women, her, and I'm gonna build a legacy and all this other stuff. A lot of stuff like that we just didn't see, or we didn't experience in our home. We may have had relatives that did it and things of that nature, but in the home, what we saw on a consistent basis, that just was just an aspiration for us to get some money and be able to live a life of excitement and pleasure. You know what I'm saying? And so of okay, I'm gonna get a wife, start a legacy, and I'm gonna be to my wife and my children. A lot of times that's farthest from my mind. And so being that's far from our minds, you know what I'm saying? And then with the cultural influence of, you know what I'm saying, that you want to get some money and be able to, and once we increase in our influence, unfortunately, a lot of times we resort to being very promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? And the promiscuity comes from, you know what I'm saying, sometimes come from a lack of self-esteem. You see what I'm saying? As that personal esteem is low, oh, people looking at me now. People like me now. People are paying attention to me now. You know what I'm saying? And for the first time, it's a lot of cats, you know what I'm saying, they didn't have feel they was grown. You get what I'm saying? They may have been lames in high school. They may have been nerds in school, but they got out of school and they somebody now. You know what I'm saying? And they finally got women looking at them now, her and her, you know what I'm saying? And then the focal point go to that, because that that coping strategy that a lot of time that we resort to in the trauma that we experience in our lives, whatever the case may be, being able to have all these different women, a lot of time that you know what I'm saying. And so at that point right there, the concept of staying focused and settling down and starting a leg farthest from our minds, unfortunately. So things that what you're talking about, that has to we have to learn those things. And a lot of us, nobody really sat down and taught us that, because a lot of the men that we grew up around, what I'm saying, they exemplified the lifestyle that I just talked about right there. Chris, what's your thoughts on that, sir?
You pretty much hit most of it, man. You really got to think that there is a fear of unfamiliarity. I'm not familiar with that. And plus, like you say, it's almost twofold. I'm not familiar with it, but at the same time, like you just said, ooh, I got all this lady attention now. Let's have a little fun. And like, no matter how, like, I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Miles Monroe hit it. He said, if you want to test a person's character, he said, give them power, give them money, and give them access to sex, and you will see who that person really is. That's stressful to somebody. That's stressful to somebody who cannot have any type of self-control. And a lot of these guys had no structure in the home to have any type of self-control. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. I grew up with just my mother and my sister. My dad and my mom got divorced. My dad was in the military, and my mom just raised us. And because of the type of person I was, I desired so much from God to have character, bro. I desired so much to keep my record clean in school, bro, that anything that seemed to be right, I went for it. So I didn't go through a lot of the stuff that a lot of young men go through with having sex early, like they were in high school, trying to nail every chick, because I was paying attention, because I had a lot of cousins. I got a sister. I got a mom. I got a grandmother. I got an aunties that I love dearly. And this is how y'all talking about them? Wait a minute. Let me study this. Let me listen to what y'all saying. And that shaped my character into not being that. So now, and my auntie, I'm going to tell you, the reason why I haven't get this is 3 things happened to me, to what you're talking about, to where I can understand now. And that led me. Number 1, my grandmother set me down on her sofa. And she sat across the chair, still had the same sofa and chair to this day. She said she saw my interest in women turning. And she saw that I was actually growing into my look, so to speak. And she told me, pussy is a weapon. Grandson, baby. Let me tell you that now. They will use that thing on you. They will let that thing, I'm talking about it'll make you lose your mind. You won't even know if you coming or going. She said, you have examples to look for. I said, whoa, what's what you mean? She said, just look around, just look in your family. I ain't gonna call nobody out, baby. Just look in your family. You'll see that pussy running them. I said, okay. So I paid attention to that. No lie. Week and a half later, my mama put him to the side. Son, let me talk to you. I see your interest in girls change. Come on, let me explain how this go. She said, be careful what caliber woman that you sleep with. She said, trust me, it's gonna take time for you to know her. So be careful what caliber woman you sleep with, because you may be stuck with her for a long time and not be able to get with it. So I never had a one-night stand in my life. Never. I'm probably one of the few dudes that say I never saw a chick, had sex with her that night, and then whatever. I never done that, because of what my mom told me and how my grandmother told me. It never took control. There were dudes I went to school with that had 3 babies by the time they were juniors in high school. So when I saw that, okay, them 2 lessons right there, then my auntie basically got in and jumped in the car. We just riding for some random reason. She turned the music down. She said, pussy a muscle, right? And turned the music back up and kept going just randomly out of nowhere. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, what the and then I'm sitting here I started thinking, man. I'm talking about like weeks and weeks later. I'm started thinking, and all of a sudden, I would say the young lady name, but I ended up getting in a situation, and Man, when I started paying attention, it was like for some reason I wasn't so caught up in having sex. You know, when you young, you like, ooh, I get to sleep with, man, she gonna give it to me. You just be so excited about it, like, woo! Man, for one particular reason, I'm sitting here like trying to pay attention to what she doing. Like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Okay, she ain't going all the way down. What's she trying to do? Oh, that's what Auntie was talking about. Oh, so she's squeezing and releasing, sliding a little bit, gyrating, and I'm talking about like, if had I not been paying attention to that, I'd have been done. I'd have been done, son. Done. You hear me? I'd have been smoked meat, bro. So, and here's the kicker, bro. They got me. When I knew she was doing it, I said, I know what you're doing, and it's not gonna work. She got mad and kicked me out of the house. Get out. She started putting clothes on, put your clothes on, get out. I started laughing. I was like, ooh, thank you, Auntie. I said, okay, so they really out here doing this. So it taught me to watch what caliber woman that I have if she's trying to use that as a weapon against me. You know what I'm saying? So I had to change. I had to transform my character. So when you get into power like that, you're gonna run across more women because it's like I saw something this morning that say this. I'm gonna let it go too, and I'm gonna be done. It's a society and all this around us having so much sexuality that I can't even go in Walmart. You know, I'm a greeter at the door part time. So, you know, I'm seeing, man, it's cheeks everywhere, bro. They're not coming here dressed normal. They're probably really good women. They're probably God-given, blessed women, bro. But they coming there with their cheeks out. And I'm sitting up here like, it put pressure on you as a man because you know you're going to look. God made y'all perfect for us. But we going to look, and it's like, good God. Every time you turn around, one leave out, another one come right back in. 2 leave out, 4 more come back in. 6 leave out, 12 more come back in. You're like, Jesus. How? And you can't even concentrate because the fact of, and then it takes away, and this is the sad part to me, it takes away from their character because you don't even know what type of woman she is because you're too busy looking at the cheeks flopping by as you walk by. Making eye contact and almost giving the feeling of sexual innuendo, and you trying to be like, I'm trying not to look. Lord, I'm trying to be right. But it's like, I can't help it. I can't even help myself. And I had to catch myself. No. You can come outside and take the groceries. Nope. Mm-mm.
So to the man,
the good women.
So to the man that don't have self-control, he in trouble.
Oh, it's a paradise.
And one thing about it, the concept, what we're talking about now, what we're trying to present now is the concept of a real man. And this goes into a particular point that I have. I believe a real man has the capability of exercising self-discipline. What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I do.
But the problem is, so back to the initial problem, right? So with men, and just look at the statistics of Black homes, right? So a lot of them are being raised in single parent homes by the woman. So if that's a key to having a good man and raising up a good man, how do the women train their sons to be self-controlled? I know I appreciate what the brother just shared about his mom and his grandma and his aunt saying to him, because I have 4 chosen sons. I was married. I'm in my second marriage, but I was married previously. I remember having a similar conversation with my oldest son, and to this day, he'll be 25 next month. He doesn't have any children, and he's very respectful of women. Not because he's ugly, because I told him they're gonna come for you, bro. Same stuff you said your grandma and everybody said. I said the same stuff to my boy. I did. And yeah. I just praise God as I think about him and what he is. And we talk too about girls and the stuff that they're doing. And it's not that he doesn't have a desire for women, but he has I think a deeper respect for women than a lot of them have for themselves.
Absolutely.
So help the sisters here figure out, how do we raise our sons to be self-controlled in the house when they're, growing up in our homes? How do we start getting that instilled into them and talk to them, and also allow them to demonstrate it? Now, not just you telling them about it, but right. What can they do around the house that you can start seeing that they possess that now?
I'm gonna tell you, one of the most powerful things that a woman can do to instill that concept of self-discipline into their boys is living a life, a discipline, a woman discipline in front of her son. See, there's a lot of boys who have an extreme hatred toward women. One of the reasons why the hatred toward women is because of their hatred toward their mama. See, a lot of people don't understand the concept because for years I've had to, sit and talk, you know what I'm saying, me doing youth ministry and stuff like that. And it's an over boys who hate their mama. This is why they have such a hatred toward their mama, because of the lack of self-discipline that she has. And of course, the lack of self-discipline that their daddy got, especially if their daddy is not, committed to them. You see what I'm saying? And so one thing that I can encourage women to do, because I know plenty of women, a disciplined life in front of their children, and as a result, their children are productive young men now, even though they came up in a quote unquote single parent home. It's a lot of young men who came single parent homes. They are productive whenever they was in that home with their mama. Their mama lived a life of discipline. And so aside from that, I would encourage sisters to find men who they know, who are disciplined men, and and schedule time for those boys to be to be around these particular men. Like, for an example, me and Chris, we work in a barbershop, and it's a lot of young men come through that barbershop, and whenever we talking, we sharing a lot of information, and we talking about different things, and the conversation is a lot different, you know what I'm saying, from what they're used to hearing from, a bunch of men. You know what I'm saying? We talking to them about the concept of being self-disciplined. We talking to them about the concept of not trying to spread themselves out, saying, among a whole bunch of women and stuff like that, about things of that nature. And young boys have boost to men who have that type of conversation and that kind of thought process. So I would, and this is the reason why I love the concept of church. You know what I'm saying? If you have a productive church with a lot of productive men in that church, it is very important that women are boys involved in this particular church. And encourage you to be more sensitive of the fact that you got to invest some of your time, some of your energy, and some of your effort into some of these. You know what I'm saying? I understand you got your, you got to provide for your family and all that. But fellas, I'm talking to the disciplined brothers that's, that's productive. Fellas, you need to invest your time, your energy, and your effort into these young boys that's coming up that ain't your children. It's very important that we do that, because if we look back, there was a lot of men that invested time and energy into us. There's a lot of them. A lot of them look, here's the deal. A lot of the men that invested time and energy into us, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them, they wasn't, they had all type of stuff going on personally. You know what I'm saying? However, they found time to invest into us, whether it was them being coaches, volunteer coaches, or whatever, community, whatever the case may be. So I want to encourage some of these fellas out here that got good jobs and good careers, and they doing well for themselves and all that. You invest some of your time and energy into some of these boys that's out here that ain't got no daddy in their life. Chris, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Man, you touched on as far as the discipline, but like you said, this is definitely my area, because I was raised solely by my mother for the most part, but she took me around my grandfather. My grandfather got old enough. By the time I turned 21, my grandfather had muscular dystrophy and he went down. But he taught me, the stuff that he taught me kept me from being in drugs. I joined the Crips. I ended up, thank God he spared me from that. I didn't stay in it long. You know what I'm saying? Never got uninitiated, but I basically was about to sell drugs. The dude I got to sell drugs with, he told me there's no retirement at. I wouldn't have got that from my mother because the dude that was selling drugs had a crush on my mom. So he was trying to do all of the theatrics, the same stuff I'm talking about. The flashing get my mom's attention. She wasn't biting. And he wasn't a bad looking guy. But everybody knew he had started to change. His character started to change once the females came and he had the money. And so he gets killed. The week I was supposed to start with him, the very Saturday I was supposed to start slanging heroin on the block out there in Burstall. He gets killed. They follow him around all that day and they kill him in the barbershop and shoot everybody in there. You see what I'm saying? I would have been in there with them had my grandfather told me there ain't no retirement in that lifestyle, son. He didn't explain it. He just said there ain't no retirement in that. And here I am, 14, 15, seeing that there ain't no retirement. That's your retirement, bro. You out of here. So my mother showed me this. My mother showed me that what her character was, that's the type of woman you should look for. There were things about my mother I never knew till later that I disagreed with, that I never knew. But because I believed in my mother's character, it made up and flew right. And my mother was brutally honest with me about some stuff, about what happened with her and my dad. But she never talked about my dad. She was honest about what happened. Your dad chose to leave. For whatever reason, son, he chose to leave. You had nothing to do with it. It was something between me and him. So that brought me down from feeling like I'm the problem, and I'm starting me from being a problem child and not saying, well, I don't know what happened. No, tell me the truth. I don't care how much you heard your kid truth as a single mother raising your son. Tell him the dangers that are out there, like my grandmother, my mom, and my aunt told me. Because I promise you, if those three women had not told me those things, I would have had babies all over this mug. Because I wouldn't have been able to handle, I was quote unquote ugly for so long, I wouldn't have been able to handle when they finally started finding me attractive. My junior year, they were coming. My senior year, they were coming. They were like, hey, you can meet me at my mom's house. And I had to discipline this. I'm good. I'm good. I turned down a lot of it because it was like that. Those thoughts kept me on the straight and narrow because I knew if I dove into that pool, I was never going to get out of it. I was never going to get out of it. So I was like, nah, I'd rather not. And now being in my old age and they find me somewhat attractive now, I can still turn it down even when they flirt with me when they walk past. They walk past and say little cute stuff. I'm like, hey, appreciate it. And keep going. And the whole time in my spirit, because of what I saw in my mother, what I saw in my grandmother, what I saw in my Aunt B and my Aunt V right now, right now is a huge contributor to my life right now. A huge contributor. And because I trust women, like you said, I've been around women so long, I trust them when they tell me other stuff about women. That's what shocked me and still put me in my place, LP, because why would this woman come tell me stuff that, oh, wait a minute, she's trying to tell me stuff that women do that I need to be paying attention to. This ain't good. Okay, thank you. And that's pretty much it. Just I would say, like you said, maintain your character in front of your son, but be honest and tell them the dangers are. Tell how women set you up, not to kill you, or not just other stuff. They set you up for failure. They set you up for codependency too. They set you up to be codependent on them. They set you up for all type of stuff. Even though they're a good one, and you don't dive to it and tell them, son, when they try to take you here, make sure you get back here. When they try to take you there, just make sure you get back here. That'll trust me. I'm 41, and I don't have any kids anywhere, because of that. I didn't come on, STDs were huge even then too. None of that. So it's important. So all you do those things and watch what happens. Watch your son grow and how much respect he'll have in me, and he'll be a different dude.
That's awesome, man. That's some good stuff right there. The homie Christopher Michael. That's good. We got a comment that came in, and the sister says, as a mother, I used to make my son take me on dates, and I showed him how to date Wow. See, that's
I,
that's that's productivity right there. I
I
love
love
it. I love
it.
it. That's real productivity.
So right now, guys, so far I've taken 2 points as to what real manhood looks like. And the first is to be self-disciplined, and the second is to be selfless. So as a woman, if you're looking for a real man, you're looking for someone that. How does that look? I know you said LP. You said for the woman. I said, how does she start teaching her son that? You said she has to be that. And then you said you have to now put him in an environment where there are self-disciplined men. So how does that look real? Like in real time, what's some examples of a woman that's living a disciplined life? And what's some examples of a man that's living a disciplined life so they can know what they're looking for?
Well, you gotta you have to pay attention to a lot of different things. Sisters, y'all know when with a man that's disciplined or not. You know, sometimes women will test you. You know, it's been plenty of times, you know what I'm saying, women have tested me, you know what I'm saying, to see, you know, they throw a little something out there, see if I throw something back, you know what I'm saying, and then and they see I don't throw nothing back. Oh, by the way, I know your wife, blah blah blah. I'm like, you try to see if I was gonna do something, and you gonna tell my old lady, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know what I'm saying. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, when a guy is operating, you know what I'm saying, whether it's a coach, whether it's a male teacher, whether it's a minister, or whatever the case may be. Once you could tell if a man is disciplined or whatever, and so it's okay to ask. You know what I'm saying? Hey, would you be willing to mentor my son? Or hey, you know what I'm saying? If it go to such and such, would could my son hang out with you sometime or whatever the case may be? You know what I'm saying? Women, that's a very, very important thing that women need to start doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times there's that fear of, you know, somebody gonna do your child something, or somebody gonna hurt your baby and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You pick up on whether or not, you know what I'm saying? And one of the I'm not just saying this because I'm a barber. But it's very you need to be very particular in the barbershop that you send your children. You know what I'm saying? And if you perceive that this is a productive barbershop with men who are who you could perceive to be, you know, disciplined men, that's a great place for you to bring your children. You need to bring your sons in there. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's very important when you bring your sons in there to get to bring baby girl in there, because baby girl gonna be paying attention to what's going on. Baby girl gonna be paying attention to the conversation. She gonna be paying attention to what's being said. She gonna be paying attention to what's being done. You know what I'm saying? And so those very practical things that women can do to put their children, put their boys in environments around disciplined men. You know, and I hope that answered your question.
Well, honestly, I just feel too, in addition to what you said, is that it's a element of time you have to give yourself to know people, right? So you're saying take them to the barbershop.
Absolutely.
You got to get around. The lady says she dates her son. She makes him take her out so that she can date. You know, he can know how to date and treat a woman. How about these men that you're thinking about mentoring your son? That you go out with them and basically it is a questionnaire because I need to know about you. Believe me, just because you go to church with a man,
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean you know him. You know, you don't really know someone till you
Absolutely.
spend real time around people, engage them, right? I think
Absolutely.
a lot of women are missing out on husband material. First of all, because you're not giving them the time to analyze how they treat their family, how they treat people. Just watching that requires time. We're so quick. So, what type of
Mm.
questions should a woman, in addition to possibly seeing somebody? Because I'll tell you the truth, LP, I reached out to you because I've been following you for years, bro. I've been following you from back in the day, and just seeing and knowing your wife, knowing what she
Hmm.
represents, and just seeing that you have a heart for the people. That's why I even
Absolutely.
came to you with this question, right?
Right, right.
There's
And I
a
appreciate
caliber of
that.
men that I approached with the question. I did approach some people that I thought were slimy men. I asked them as well. I asked
Wow.
gay men. I asked all calibers. But I
Mm.
really wanted to hear from men that I felt were quality and represented manhood from what I could see, right? Because I've been observing you for years, right?
Okay.
So
Hmm.
what are some questions that as a woman is seeing a man that she might think is good for her son, that she should ask of him what he might be teaching. What does he have to teach her son? Should she ask him that? You know, I don't know. I'm big
I,
on questions and really knowing what is the objective. I'm not just sending my boy and
so,
he's gonna do this. I don't know what he's gonna do.
no doubt. I agree 100%. So you asked the question, what are some of the questions we should ask? You should ask a man if you're uh planning on dating him or um
It could go both ways. Yeah, if you're gonna date him. So we're talking about learning
okay.
self-discipline, right? It could go for dating this
Absolutely.
guy.
I,
Oh,
I
you should
believe that.
for a mentor for your son.
Yes, yes. I actually in my book, my thoughts, ideas, and suggestions for relationships, I definitely I there's a chapter in there where I talk about that. I believe before you engage with uh, the opposite sex, I believe that 100 questions that are asked and answered, at least 100 questions. And some of those questions are very, very important questions. When I say some of these questions, a lot of people be like, "Oh, man, that's too personal. You can't be asking people, stuff like that." You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about sharing your life with this person, sharing your private parts with this person, you need to be asking some of these questions. You see what I'm saying? So, a lot of questions like, you know, um, uh, uh, do you the same sex? That's a good question that women need to start asking, and that men need to start asking women. You know what I'm saying? You need to start asking questions. You know what I'm saying, about how many sexual partners have you had? That's a good question. You know what I'm saying? Ask questions like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Uh, do you have a 5-year plan? You know what I'm saying? Do you have, what is your vision? You know what I'm saying? Do you believe in dating multiple? You know what I mean? You know, what's your thoughts on God? That's an excellent question. You know what I'm saying? Different thoughts and views on God. You know what I'm saying? A lot of questions that need to be asked up front. And unfortunately, before we entertain people that we're dealing with, unfortunately, people don't ask enough questions. And so whenever that person asks questions, have you ever put your hands on the opposite sex? Do you fight have you ever got in a fight with someone that you were dating? Have you got in a fist fight with somebody that you're dating? That's a good question. Domestic violence. What's your thoughts on beating women? You know what I'm saying? These are good questions. You know what I'm saying? And if an individual is shying away from those questions, like, whoa, hold on, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we ignore those red flags. You know what my brother said? This is a good one right here. This brother said a man got to be disciplined in his finances too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you need to ask questions like that. You know what I'm saying?
How does that look though?
Would you say so?
How does that look? Because if you're dating a guy, right? You know, you're not in his, you don't see his bank statements. I know you can watch and see what, what he's spending, or see how he dressed, see how often he's shopping, things like that. But how does that look in seeing a man's discipline in his finances? Because a man having credit doesn't mean he's a bad man. That could be fixed.
Right.
My said to me as we were dating, and there were some things that are important, and we discussed important questions. Are they items that can be fixed? Right?
Absolutely.
So that doesn't just say you're off because you got poor credit.
Well,
it can be fixed.
Well, being disciplined when it comes to finances, one of the issues that we in a lot of our family structure, there's a lot of men, you know what I'm saying? That's a lack of discipline. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of men get paid, they go to the strip club and they spend their whole check in the strip club. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that comes from, you know what I'm saying, a lack of discipline. You feel me? So that's a very saying, so I think that's a real good question. I'm not comes to, that particular issue that we're presenting. And by the way, what's your thoughts on that? A man being a man and his because this is the big one. Women have a concern on whether or not he can quote unquote that, and then and then we'll kind of dive into it. What's your thoughts on that, sister?
Well, I didn't catch the question completely because you're going in and out. So can you rephrase? Can you say the question again? Restate it.
Oh man, my audio is not good right now. I was asking, people always bring up the concept of men have to be able to quote unquote provide. And so what's your thoughts on that when it comes to manhood and his ability to quote unquote provide?
I agree. I believe if a man is working, he should contribute. I know for a time my son was he was living with me as an adult. He wasn't in school. He was working at Walmart. And I told him, I said, well, son, you're a man. And anywhere a man lays his head, he contributes. So I need you to pay for your rent, for staying here, for the food, for all this, for this house, for this piece, and all that he got with living with me. He had to pay $250, and I was okay with that because at the end of the day, he had to contribute, right? So it varies on what that means now, right? So we know as for Black men, y'all, the income that you all make is it can be more than a woman's, because we know that men typically get paid more than women. But how Black women are, we're getting our higher education, and we're going and we're really, getting our master's degrees. Some people getting PhDs. Incomes are growing, right? And our brothers' income may not be necessarily growing like our incomes. However, to me, providing me with what you make, whatever that is, I don't care if you work at McDonald's, with what you make, you're going to bring a percentage of that to the household at which you live, right? Now, based on what you make, there are opportunities to grow. So now let's talk about career growth, right? If you don't like what you're making and what you bring to the table, let's talk about career growth. I talk about this with my husband all the time because when we initially started dating, he was making more than me, but now I was able to get back into my field and where I was previously, and my income has risen above his. But guess what? My husband, he's still not worried about my purse. I feel like that's a real man, even though he don't be like, well, what you making all in my wallet, worried about what I'm making. He don't worry about my purse. He still dates me. He still wants to pay for the vacations. he still wants to be the man that pays for the dates. And he gets so many brownie points for me for that, because he knows what I make. He knows what I bring to the table, but that doesn't stop him for being the husband and being the man and courting and dating me even as we're married, right? So I don't just out a man because of that, but I talk to him a lot about, well, babe, you bring so much. Let's figure out how we can optimize the value that you have on your job, because you've been on your job 12 years, bro. You should be here. So my plan is to help him elevate to the next level so that he can possibly surpass me because of what he knows and the value that he should have in that company where he works. So to me, it's just wherever you are, analyzing that money that you're making and how are you contributing to the household and what's your intentions on growing it if you're not happy. That's my answer.
That is powerful. That's powerful. I just want to speak on that briefly from the perspective of a lot of people, whenever we say the concept of, well, men need to provide. Well, it's a lot more to providing than just, it's a lot more to it. We have to provide an example. We have to provide household. We have to provide a lot in regards to that. And unfortunately, we just stop at this aspect. So watch this. A man, if you were a man and his income is very low, that man still has the capability of being a good man in his, and this is facts. Unfortunately, we live in a mindset that the only way a man is providing is if he's bringing money in. But we got to understand there's a lot of more that he has to bring in. You got a whole lot of stuff that they do not provide, and as a result, that household is suffering. Real talk. What's your thought on that, Mr.
In addition, though, real quick, in addition to that, like you say, we're all providing in different ways. And I feel like if men initially understood that, then women, we could really be in the place where God really wanted us to be. And that is commanding our homes. That is the first. And if you're a believer, as for a woman, that is our first priority, manning your home, your house, right? I don't care how much money you make. If you're the CEO, take control of your home. But at the end of the day, a real man, he is going to want to contribute financially because that's what it takes to run a house now, right? So yes, you're looking for somebody that's going to provide other things as well, finances, but there are things that are provided, like my husband, his loyalty and his faithfulness and his dedication. He provides so many things, and knowing what exactly you're looking for beyond that. I think a lot of women are fooled in that they're just looking for that dollar, right? That's first and foremost. I'm looking for that dollar. But you're missing out on a good man looking for that dollar. Especially especially us who like, oh, the black man, he's so down, he's running from the black woman. Well, what's stacked up against the black man? There are a lot of things stacked up against you all. So we could go to Chris, but I just had to say that so much more. But finances is definitely something that you need to be talking about, because you have a contribution. I don't care where you work.
Absolutely.
Where you work, there's a contribution for you to be made to a household if you put in your head somewhere.
Amen. Amen. Go ahead, Chris.
But I think it's important. It is. A lot of times too, when it comes to that, we have to look at it from this standpoint too. A lot of times, depending on the situation that brother came from, he may not even know he can do better. Because I was in a relationship, my situation, LP. When I first got out of a very faith situation, I dated a girl that I wanted to be with for a long time since we were little. You know what I'm saying? Like, she would have been the equivalent of my high school sweetheart. But I saw myself on this level right here financially, to where I was uncomfortable getting up here. She saw in me as the good woman she is, she saw in me that, hey, I see you being well here, but I'm like, yeah, I can fit. I don't think I can fit there. So it has to be in his mindset that he can even get past that part of his self-confidence, that he can actually rise above that and maybe even shoot for that. If he don't think he's capable of shooting for that, try to work with him. As she did, try to work with him and slowly build him up, because there may be some issues in his heart to where he's so used to down here, he don't even know that that's accessible right now. You mean I can get there? And now he begins to get uncomfortable getting up there until he realizes that I actually can read. And then you never know. He might take off and shoot to the stratosphere. He might shoot beyond the stars, but he has to get past that point. So when women do that, to where, oh, if he ain't got no money, he broke, he don't deserve this, he that. And like you said, they done miss out on a lot of good men because of the fact of he might be struggling in this area, and the right woman can encourage him and push him to be something, be up here, and then you never know what he can do after that. Because,
Absolutely.
Okay, so if a man has 6 that's good about him, and you focus on, okay, 9 of them are good, but he ain't got no money, so now you down to 9 things. You down to 9 things about him. You gonna walk away because the money ain't good. What? That's it. It's not like he's not working at all. He's just not making what you think he accustomed to. And half of the time they putting pressure on the guy to make this type of money, making themselves. You saying this man got to take care of you, do this and this, but you see your mom. You living on the same level he on, but he got to step up here to bring you up. Wait a minute. How he supposed to bring you up? Like I saw a video, for example, real quick, and I'm going to leave it alone. How dude said, how much this purse cost, bro? He said, man, $3,500. He said, chick, you crazy. Out of respect for this lady, I'm going to paraphrase. He said, chick, you crazy. You think I'm finna give you a $3,500 purse and you ain't got $3,500 to put in there? And it's vice versa. We shouldn't be held down because we may not make as much as you. You see what I'm saying? We may not make as much as you. That's already, you got to understand, psychologically, that's an issue for a man's girl make more than him. His wife make more than him. And bravo to your husband, the fact that he don't let that bother you. He loves that. There are not many men that are like that. But that can mess his confidence up because he's already feeling that. We don't, because society contributed to that so much. We don't feel like if we're not bringing home the bacon no more, we ain't got nothing else to contribute to the household. And we're doing way more things, but 9 things right. And because we just ain't got this area, throw the whole relationship away. That's foolish.
Wow. Excellent point, Mr. Christopher Michael. Excellent point. I want to kind of, briefly speak on being that we live in a different society. The traditional family was, from what we knew, the traditional family was, the woman, more than likely, she didn't work. She was in the house doing traditional housework, working, the cleaning and raising the children. And the man typically did all the work and brought all the money and paid all the bills. Okay. 2021, a totally different look from what it was in 1960. You say it's breaking up? Oh my God. Y'all can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Is it better now? I'm still breaking up.
It's in and out. I hear you, but it's been times when I miss parts of what you said.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. I got some technical difficulties going on, but I'm gonna get that right. But anyway, like I was saying, here it is with 2021. It's a different view. I mean, it's a different experience now, and you got a lot of men. You know what I'm saying? They hustling, they grinding, they getting it, trying to bring home the bacon. However, the woman got a whole pig at the house. You trying to bring home the bacon. You know what I'm saying? You want to give her children, but she got children of her own. You know what I'm saying? And so we're in a situation now. So now what does it constitute? Now what does it look like for me to be a man and provide if things aren't the way it used to be? And so you got a lot of in that place right there. And then you got a lot of women that are putting this expectation of today to create this, and used to be, when it's not. And so now we have to redefine the concept of manhood. And when I say redefine the concept of manhood, it goes further. Again, it goes further than just providing finances. Because if we, a lot of the older men of yesterday, you know what I'm saying, all they did was they provided finances. They provided you know, some children for her. They provided some children across the town. You know what I'm saying? And that was just the reality of how things work. So now in 2020, we have to provide, to redefine the concept of manhood. And that's what we're attempting to do now. Concept of men who have the capability of providing vision, men who have the capability of providing comfort, strength, and encouragement in the home. You know what I'm saying? Discipline in the home, as well as bringing home finances. Personally, that if we can make it a personal thing within ourselves, and I keep going back to that concept of discipline, and that concept of discipline is very important, because as men, if we exercise discipline, we have the capability of providing a better how could I put it, a better foundation for our family, a better foundational structure that can create that legacy that we're looking for. Because a lot of times it is the self-discipline that we don't have, and the trouble that we have in our families and in our homes, unfortunately. So what y'all?
I agree with what you said, bro. Can you all hear me? Thumbs up. Okay, so I agree with everything that you said. We do have to somewhat talk about what it looks like now, because as you stated, you know, is it may be a little different now. What are some key elements? I agree that a lot of what we want and seek, if we can muster up a way to become self-disciplined, man or woman, we'll find it. You know, if we can master that. But you know. I just love how the Bible's coming alive as I'm talking. Like Jesus said, you got to deny self, right? He said a lot of these things that we're talking about, and just becoming better people and aligning with Him, you know. And it requires a selflessness. So I'm back at my 2 points that I'm taking away from this discussion of the self-control and the selflessness, right? Looking for that, and we got to have forums like this where we talk about it, and at some point we start coming together so we can see it, not just talk about it, but know that it's actually, I believe in your household, LP, that it's happening, it's manifesting there, it's evident with you and your sons and your wife, and I'm hoping, you know, with me and my husband, we have my husband has children. I don't have any biological children, but I'm praying, if it's the Lord's will, that He equips me with knowledge that I need in order to raise up hopefully a son, if He gives me one, so that change can come. I believe a lot of the change we're looking for will start with our men, right? I believe
Absolutely.
in the order. I believe in the order, right? But we need to talk about it, and not only talk about it, we need to come together and see it, right? So figuring out a way, organized way to discuss it, and then to come together and be able to know that it's real and it can happen for me, and just increase our faith that it can be a possibility, right?
Absolutely.
That it can manifest, right? So I like what you said, though.
Amen. Amen. The sister said, "What's up, sister?" She said, "I think it was being and whole makes a huge difference, because folks are to keep up in unresolved trauma." Ooh.
So
Come on,
perhaps,
sister. Ask you this.
so perhaps we can add self-awareness to that then, because that is a part of that trauma, right? So analyzing yourself, analyzing your story, analyzing and knowing your why, right? I was reading somewhere,
Mm,
this guy was talking about manhood, and he said, especially when it comes to emotions for men, he said, if you're ever feeling some type of way, you're feeling angry, ask yourself why. Why am I
mm.
feeling this way? And being able to understand the why behind things, right? So as we become aware of ourselves and why we may react the way, or why we may feel the way we feel about a certain things, that will then put us on the path towards the wholeness, right? That we need in order to be productive, in order to come together and have a conversation like we're having, because this is tough conversations, right? This is not for thin skinned
Amen.
folks. You gotta be grown to have these discussions. It's not for amateurs.
Absolutely. I I kind of wanted to say this, and then we're gonna wrap it up in a second. I wanted to ask the question. You have a lot of times where there's the for men to be considered a real man, that he takes care of all the bills in the house, right? So my question that I had is there a lot of sisters willing to if he's responsible for bills in the house, what if he has a salary, a fast food restaurant salary? Are you willing to live based off his salary? So if he's only making $19,000-$20,000 a year, are you willing to downgrade your lifestyle and take care of all the bills?
Hey, bro, I don't know about 19,000, because I don't know, we'll have to live in a hut or something. It's not many places you can rent for that. But I will tell you that I know a woman who I know did just that. She married a man. She was older, probably in her 50s. Met a guy. He had his own house. It was paid for, right? I think it was in Ensley somewhere. She was living out there in Center Point. Had a house that was bigger. Had a house that it wasn't paid for, but it was bigger, was a little bit more modern. But this woman said that if I love him, I'm gonna move to where my husband can afford to keep me. And she
Mm,
moved. She sold her house and moved in with him. And they were a good, happy couple. It worked beautifully. But that tells you that she is not like sold out on these things that are earthly, these things that are below, right? When all of that becomes, I mean, I look at my house now. I got so much stuff and all this stuff. We don't need this stuff. It's what matters, having a good man that and having no house, having no mortgage. To me, that was fine, right? I'm like, you smart. I would happily do that. Bro got a house that's paid for. Just long as it's safe, I would downsize. But that
mm,
takes a woman that really understands what matters in life, right? You're not caught up
amen.
in the Joneses. You're not caught up in the looks. You're not caught up in all that rest of that stuff. But it can happen. I know it has happened.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Man, look, we had a very, 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 very productive conversation. Wanted to say I'm so grateful for y'all tuning in and watching this. Chris, Miss Keisha, thank y'all so very much for coming on the platform. Anything that y'all would like to share before we go off the air, please go ahead and do what it do.
Thanks for having me. This was a good conversation. Let it continue.
Absolutely. Like I said, if you want to find out a lot more about how, pretty much like LP encouraged me, how you do it, I'm on TikTok. So look your boy up. I talk about a lot of this stuff too on there, and get it out there because people need to know what real men are, what chivalry is, and what you're supposed to do in certain situations. So I put content like that on there. So look, Christopher Michael 41 on there. Look me up. You'll see a lot of stuff I'm talking about.
No doubt. No doubt. Thank you so very much. Man, y'all have a good night. You know what I'm saying? Much love. Give a great round of applause. You know what I'm saying? And y'all have a good night. Holla at your boy.
Good night.
Appreciate you, bro. Take care.